All right, welcome everybody to the Permissionless Software Foundation Technical Steering Meeting. Today is January 25th. I am Chris Troutner, joining you from sunny Mexico, sunny cold Mexico. So we're doing it a little differently. We're going to record this and then upload it to YouTube later. Let's go around and do a quick introductions. Aaron Shoemaker, why don't you start us off?
Hi, I'm Aaron Shoemaker. I work with the PSF with SLP stuff and metaverse stuff, and right now I'm working on a scheduling application. So
nice. Go ahead, Stoyan.
My name is Stoyan Zhekov. I'm helping with some of the JavaScript libraries for the foundation.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Aaron Sundman, big fan of the Permissionless Software Foundation and permissionless development in general, and the ideas that are being put forward with PSF. I'm using a lot of the cool stuff that is being built by the Permissionless Software Foundation on an NFT marketplace right now called OwnRare, but it's great to be a part of this.
Nice. Yeah, and as always, I'm Chris Troutner. I manage fullstack.cash, which is cloud software for blockchain services. Today is going to be mostly a show and tell day. There's not a lot of tech updates. I'm going to bring up the agenda and make this a little bigger. Let's see.
We went dark mode.
Yeah. I'm trying that out with a lot of the OS on the OS level. I just realized. So if I fall out, Aaron's going to take over for me, and I'll try and rejoin when I can. But yeah, give me as always, interrupt me at any time, and let me know if my audio or video gets a little funky. So as always, our agendas are filed on GitHub under the Permissionless Software Foundation group under a repository called TSC for Technical Steering Committee. And we file all of our agendas as issues. This is issue number 47 for today. The scope of our meeting covers the cache stack, the pay-to-write database, the BCH decks, and of course our PSF governance tooling and governance documents. So just a couple tech updates today. Let's start with these governance updates. So you guys have been great. The votes we had a vote doing an airdrop of voting tokens to all the governance NFT holders, which are the people who can speak in the VIP room in our Telegram channel. So they got the tokens and they cast the vote by sending the tokens, and it was an overwhelming yes vote to create the minting council. And you guys have all gotten me your SLP addresses, so I can send you an NFT, which will represent your place on the minting council. So that's on me. That's the next step for me, is to generate those NFTs and send it to you, and then we can move on to the next step, which is setting the price of rights to the pay-to-write database. I'm very excited about that. It's neat to be rolling out our own DAO tooling.
Right. Absolutely.
So one update I wanted to share is at p2wdb.com, which is the documentation for the pay-to-write database. I've added a new section on the pinning service. This is quickly becoming like the primary use case for the pay-to-write database. Launchpad IP is using this heavily. I am using this heavily anytime you create a token. Usually the icon and the mutable and immutable data, you want to have those pinned on the IPFS network. And so this is a little documentation for anybody who wants to set up their own copy of the pinning service. Eventually, I hope that we'll have bounties to encourage about 5 redundant pinning services. So essentially, just in a nutshell, what it does is you've got the pay-to-write database, which is monitoring the Bitcoin Cash blockchain and runs over the IPFS network. This is an add-on. It's an optional add-on. You don't have to run it. But when you run it on top, and it looks for a very specific app ID that tells it, okay, like someone paid to pin this content, which is under a megabyte right now. And so you get this collective cluster functionality where multiple nodes are pinning the same content. And so this is when you create a token with an icon, this is what ensures that that icon is easily available to the end user. So it's growing to become a pretty important service. So if anybody wants to try that out and needs some help, I'd love feedback, and I'd also be happy to help anybody who wants to try it out.
Fantastic. Thanks for making these kind of things available. You know, sites that we can go do it on our own and read about it, and anyone can. This is a great way.
Chris, in order to run this on this servers that Aaron is creating for us, can we run this service behind, like in this configuration, behind this firewall? Or
yeah, this
Yeah.
particular this particular pinning service, I don't think it would work very well behind the firewall, because the whole purpose is for it to be able to deliver files. One reason why a person might run it behind a firewall, though, is just to have a local database, a local copy of all the files that are pinned by the cluster. So I was talking to Aaron Sunman about this for his website, OwnRare. He would want to run one, even if he doesn't want to actually like run it as an available service for other people. He would want to run one locally on his own server cluster, just so that his backend servers have like immediate access to the token icons.
Right.
Is it using multiple ports, or is there like a port range that I could open up for the servers here?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because running it locally, it's nice, but it cannot be like geographically distributed in this case.
Right. Yeah, that's why I'm hoping that now that we've got the minting council set up, I want to start casting an eye towards setting up bounties for people to incentivize people to run non-firewalled open internet versions of this. So I'm running one, and Launchpad IP is running one, because they need one again for their to give access to the token icons for the tokens created with their platform. And so there is, these ports are internal, and there is webhook target 5667. I think there is one external port, but there's also it might not be in, yeah, there's this circuit relay V1. This is what lets you punch through firewalls and serve files, is this V1 circuit relay. This is one of the Docker containers. So I think this service needs to be exposed to the public internet in order for this to serve files. Because I'm trying to think, because the other thing that you do in order to in general usage is you would have this on the internet, and you'd have you'd set up an IPFS gateway in order to serve the files that have been pinned. And then you would set, to be conservative, you set that flag that just serves the pinned files and not any random file on the IPFS network. So that's how mine is set up. That's how the Launchpad IP one is set up. And so when, for example, when Launchpad IP creates a new token, or if you go to the NFT creator app that I've shown in previous meetings, when you use that to create an NFT, that icon gets pinned with this pinning cluster. And so when you go to, say, wallet.fullstack.cash and the token icon loads up, it's pulling that token icon from the IPFS gateway. That's part of this, the one instance of this, the one that I run. So yeah, there's a balance there between what ports you need to open and what ports you don't. There is at least one that needs to be globally exposed.
Well, if it's 4001 for the IPFS, then that should be fine. I mean, it's usually open anyways, and this establishes that TCP connection with when you do the peer list or seed to peers when it fires up.
Yeah, that's optional. It's optional because it uses the other circuit relays to talk to the other IPFS nodes, but it's that 8080 port, I think, is the default
Okay.
port for the gateway that actually lets it serve the files that it has pinned. That's the
And-
one that needs to be exposed.
And Stoyan, just let me know. I can open up any port you need.
No, it was more like theoretical question. I'm not so in a hurry to open ports. Just wanted to ask.
Oh, we'll open
Um,
all the ports.
I also wanted to give a quick update on this CoinJoin flip starter. So the Bitcoin Cash community, shortly after the BCH 22 conference, they funded this flip starter for me to build a desktop wallet that can do peer-to-peer CoinJoin transactions with other people running the desktop wallet. So that's why I'm down here in Texas or in Mexico. That sort of paid for the trip. I figured I'd work on that while I'm or come down here and work on that. And so that's going really well. I managed to actually get it to compile and I'm gonna have to 1 second, guys. Mute that channel. There we go. So the CoinJoin thing is coming along really well. I managed to get basically take wallet.fullstack.cash and package it as an electronic in Linux. So that's in place. And I just hit a big milestone where I was able to get a instance of the Go IPFS running in there. So this desktop app will actually be running an IPFS node inside the desktop app, and that's what will allow each instance of the desktop app to do this sort of peer-to-peer coordination in order to generate these CoinJoin transactions. And eventually the goal is to get it to work with BCH first, but then I want to get it to work with SLP tokens so that you could take one reason I don't think there's a few reasons why stablecoins haven't really taken on with SLP. And I think one reason is that they're not fungible. It's really easy to track the history of every SLP token. And so being able to run like PSF tokens or the USDT token through a CoinJoin and anonymize it, that would actually make, fungible stable coins. That'd be pretty cool. That's sort of the
Right. I mean, I think you've brought it up before is there's not going to be a lot of people that get into some of this stuff unless they're stable coins, like merchants aren't going to. So it's got to eventually work for SLP. So appreciate the fact that you're pushing forward.
We
Thanks
missed
for
one
coming.
thing. You paused when you were saying how you compiled it. You did it with Electron.
Yeah, Electron JS. Yeah, I looked into Capacitor, and they don't really have they have an Electron integration, but they don't actually have a desktop solution themselves, from what I could find out. So it still seems like Electron's really the only way to go. There is one other, the name's escaping me. There is one other desktop thing, and they do, claim to be like a lot smaller in terms of memory size and hard drive footprint. But they're not as well developed. They're still kind of a younger project.
Chris, what will be the connection between this CoinJoin code and the stuff that they have in the desktop wallet? What was the name?
Electron Cache and that Cache Fusion.
Yes, Electron Cache. They already had some like plugins or something to do like shuffling and stuff like this. So will be this like compatible or?
Not right away. I'm glad you brought this up because this was a main thing of confusion. That's why I was actually surprised this flip starter even got funded, because there was so much confusion around this. So the goal, at first, they're not going to be compatible, and the goal of this project isn't really to compete with that one, because that's like industrial scale privacy, but it has these limitations in that, like, Electron Cache is the only wallet that has it incorporated. So people have tried to incorporate it in other web wallets and other phone app wallets, and the success has been extremely limited. And it's also like very calcified. There's only like a handful of guys who know how it works. And if there's an update that needs to happen, there's usually a huge time lag between, you know, a hair on fire problem and it actually getting like resolved, because there's literally like probably less than 5 people who know where the code is, what it does, and how to edit it. And there's also a coordination server. So that's a big, point of failure, in that with the server goes down, nobody gets any more privacy. Everybody's down. And what project is really trying to do is, it's less about trying to build the perfect coin join protocol, and it's framework in which people can innovate. Oh, did you guys lose me for a second?
Just a hiccup.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have it on this page. I'd have to search for it, which I don't want to do right now, but there are these, oh yeah, here it is. These 5 design elements that go into it. So you got the packaging, which is the desktop application. You got the backend infrastructure, which lets the app actually talk to the blockchain. You've got the peer-to-peer coordination, which is where IPFS comes in. And then and then you got the HD wallet functionality. I skipped that one. So that's handling an HD wallet and the UTXO management is very different and more complicated than a single address wallet. And then you've got the actual coin join protocol. And so what I'm hoping to do is tackle those first 4, because most of that work is already done, well, with the exception of Electron, although it is mostly done now. So if I can package those first 4, then I've created a platform for other developers to sort of innovate and try new ideas around the actual coin join protocol. And then eventually,
Chris is lost.
Lost in Mexico.
and stuff over.
Oops, back.
You're back.
Oh, did you guys? Okay. But basically, the long-term goal is to port the Cash Fusion stuff over here. I'm going to stop my video while that'll cut down on a little bit of the bandwidth for me. So yeah, so eventually we want to make it compatible. And it's really just going to come down to the community. So my real goal is just to create these 5 design elements and create a platform so that other people can innovate. Because right now, that's what's not possible with Electron Cash. Is there's like, it is what it is, take it or leave it, and there is no other option. And there's a lot of people, like, one of the issues with that coordination server is that if you're in a place like Venezuela or China, where your internet connection is throttled, if you're doing anything weird, and Tor might actually be illegal, those types of people, they can't use Cash Fusion, at least not very well, not very successfully, and they're the people who need it the most. And so that's one reason why I'm really passionate about doing a sort of standalone peer-to-peer version that will just that requires no centralized coordination server. So that's the background on this project.
Awesome.
All right, and it's far clearer now, since Tornado Cash had all the issues, that having something decentralized that's not relying on one server somewhere is more and more important.
Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much the tech update. So let's jump into the roundtable, and I just want to kick this off with a very quick demo. I'm not going to take very long, because I definitely want to give Stoyan and Aaron some time to present their stuff. But I am pretty excited about this. I've got the demo, the very rough prototype, up at localtradelist.com. So the goal of this app is it's to help local communities. So you guys know I live on a remote island, and what I'm really making this for is for the people on my island. Is there's a woman down the street who she sells all sorts of baked goods and stuff, and then there's a guy up the street who sells excavation services, and there's more people on the island who are willing to, mostly food items, but also like gardening and cleaning. And I want to give all these people a platform to advertise their services and hopefully start to accept cryptocurrency. So when you load this, this first view that pops up is a map of the US, and I've got these pins here. And as I zoom in, I've actually got several of them placed here. And these pins are actually SLP group tokens. And the coordinates are stored in their mutable data. So if I click on one of these pins, I can click on this token ID and bring up the token information. I'll give that a second to come up. But this is really the crux of what makes this different from all other map apps, because there's a lot of different map apps out there, is that the map data is on the blockchain, and then there's these buttons, not safe for work and garbage. And this goes back to these claims and some of the things I talked about in the Telegram channel about soul-bound tokens, sort of my own take on it. These are just transactions on the blockchain, but they follow a certain pattern. So I've modified the SLP indexer to read these, pick them up and read them. And so if you see, there will be a not safe for work version and a safe for work version. So this is the default is the safe for work version. So if you see somebody on here like advertising, sex, drugs, or rock and roll or guns or something, anybody can click this not safe for work. And so this is an experiment in group moderation. So we're not censoring the data. All the data is there and it'll always be there because it's on the blockchain. What I have this front end programmed is if 5 individual people or addresses flag one of these as not safe for work, the indexer will pick that up and it will just not display it on the safe for work version. Somebody else could fork this code and create a different threshold. Maybe they want to set it at 10 instead of 5. And same thing for the garbage is, so like if you click this not safe for work, it'll disappear from the safe for work version, but it'll still appear on the not safe for work version. But then there might be garbage that just like most of these right now are going to be garbage. So if a certain number of people, I'm thinking 10, click the garbage button and register a claim on the blockchain saying this is garbage, then I won't display the token anymore. And again, like the threshold, anybody could fork the software and set the threshold differently. And then comment, go ahead.
The token still exists. So if someone did want to go out there, it is possible to query the blockchain. It's just, it doesn't display in the UI. I mean, I think this is a great way to do it. It's like spam store or something, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've really, in the conversations I've had over the last 5 years about censorship versus moderation, this is like, it's very arbitrary what the difference is between censorship and moderation. And so this, I think, is a really nice objective way to differentiate between censorship and moderation, and that like we're not censoring anything because the information's still there and we're not capable of censoring anything.
Right.
But our users, we're crowdsourcing the moderation, and we're doing that by simply setting a certain amount of thresholds. And so it's really crowdsourced moderation rather than some one admin making decisions. Yeah, so here's the actual token data for that store. So it's got a token icon, and so it's following this schema.org linked data. And so it's got a name, it's got a description, it's got a more info link, keywords to describe what kind of store it is. It has a physical location with geographic coordinates, so that means we can put it on the map. And this is all mutable data, so the person who created the token can edit this at any time. And then request that the indexer sort of refreshes the mutable data. That's the idea here. Yeah, and then that's just the Genesis data. So it's actually a pretty simple idea. There's just stores that are tokens and claims that are about something. They're either about a token or about another claim. So there's this comment button. This isn't functional yet, but the idea is that someone could leave a review or a comment, and there will be a simple version and an advanced version of this. The simple version is written directly to the blockchain. The advanced version is the data goes to IPFS and then is pointed to by the blockchain. So that way we don't have, basically just managing these data limitations of the blockchain. And then the block button will be like a blacklist. That'll just be localized to your own website. So like if you click not safe for work, but the thing keeps coming up because other people don't feel the way you are and you're just sick of looking at it, you can just click block and it'll just prevent that store from being shown in your own local instance of your web browser. And then let's see if I have. Yeah, so then there's the create a store. So this is the create store. So you can add a name. This is creating the group token. And then you can click in here and place a marker, and it gets the geographic coordinates from this. So this is all taken from that GeoDrop game that I built a couple years ago with Daniel for the hackathon. So this is how you'd actually create a store. And then in terms of a claim, that's just a one-click thing where I won't demo it, but you just click on it and hit continue, and it's just writing a transaction to the blockchain. So it's very fast, as opposed to creating a store where that takes about 15 minutes because it's creating data, uploading to IPFS, pinning the data, doing that a few times, and then finally creating the token. But that's just a one-time thing. And then what I don't have displayed yet is the edit. There's going to be there's a whole nother window I'm working on for editing the mutable data after you create the token. So let me see here. I'm going to turn my video back on. So that's the demo of that. It's just something I'm playing with in my spare time as a hobby. I'm pretty excited about it. It's going to be pretty fun. I should be able to package it as an Android and iOS app eventually once it gets to a level of maturity. But I'm pretty excited about it. Once I get it to a point, I'm going to try and bug all you guys to create a store, and I'm going to try create an incentive where and I'm curious to get your guys' feedback on this, because I don't know if this is a good idea or not. But what I'm thinking is, in order to bootstrap this project and generate network effects, what I'm thinking is someone could go, people could be incentivized to go out there and register businesses, similar to how you might go out and register a domain name, and then put like, okay, if you're the store owner and you want to claim this business, like click here and you can buy it from me for like $2 or $5 or whatever. And so I'd probably create a second piece of software that would make that an easy thing to do. And the idea there is that if you charge too much, like basically the equivalent of domain squatting, like the store owner can always just go out and make their own PIN. So you're really just adding a convenience. How much is the value of the convenience of someone navigating the tech stuff for the store owner to get it registered? So yeah, I don't know. It'll just probably have to remain to be seen if that idea takes off or not. But that's my idea, is kind of, how do I incentivize people to go out and register stores on the map, but how do I prevent domain name squatting? So I'm hoping it'll kind of naturally level itself out. We'll see. Okay, so that's my demo. Aaron, do you want to?
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I just have to say, I think this is an exciting, I love the concept anyway. And since you brought up the simple store protocol, it's just been an amazing thing to see it come alive. So I've just started creating my own store as well. It's going right now. So these things are just so amazing to see come alive. Also, I like the fact that it costs a couple cents to mark something NSFW or whatever.
Mhm.
I mean, it's, this is the whole hash cache idea that Adam Back had from a long time, was how do you stop spam? And that was by charging something, even if it's 1/10 of a cent, to make sure people actually have an incentive to want to actually do it, to have some stake in the game. So I think that kind of stuff is really important.
Well, I think it also addresses the internet model that we kind of see is failing now, where these big businesses were like, oh, we'll make money eventually. This is going to be free. We'll charge eventually, and we'll just grow and run super fast. And now they're to a point where stuff is shrinking. And, wouldn't it be nice if at the get-go it was like, well, it's 1 cent, 2 cents, 3 cents to store this and do this and do this. And people would think about it differently, because right now people think about data like water. They're like, oh, this doesn't cost me anything.
Everything should be free.
Everything should be free. And most end users have no idea. I talk to my business partner about this all the time. Most end users have no idea what's going on behind the scenes to make just a simple thing work.
Yeah, you know what really inspired me to build this? Oh, go ahead, Stoyan.
I think we need some JavaScript developer to make us component for updating data to IPFS, because it's a little, how to say, separate task from minting the token itself. Most of our wallets and everything, it's just quick hack around how to put the data on IPFS. If we have like this nice component, it will be maybe more like user friendly, because we will just upload the data, get the hash and this CID and mint it. So maybe we need somebody to work on this part, like updating images or coordinates or JSON files.
Yeah, I mean, the process is pretty slow right now. And what slows it down is, I mean, it's the pay to write database that makes it slow, because there's a lot of back and forth. Like, it's a two-step process to pin content with that pinning service. Is you upload the data to the pay to write database. You've got to wait for that whole validation to happen. And then once it's in the database, you do a second transaction to the pay to write database to ask it to pin that data to the IPFS cluster. And so if we had a server where a person could just make a single API call and be like, here's the payment and here's the data, and then they kind of like goes off and they can check on it, you know, when it's ready, they can basically poll it. And when it's ready, like there's a lot of I'm glad that we have a system that works, but it's a slow system. So the next step is to make the system faster. And like you said, components would really make it more accessible to developers. So the thing that really inspired me to build this was when I went to St. Kitts, there were like bars and hotels and restaurants that were accepting Bitcoin Cash, and that was great. But I rented a moped and I drove around, and there's all these like super poor people selling fruit on the side of the road. And they don't know what Bitcoin Cash is. Like maybe 1 out of 3 of them has a cell phone. And so I was thinking, like, man, how do these more remote, more marginalized people advertise? Because also it can't be expensive, and it can't be permissioned. You know, these people just need to. How do they make themselves aware that like, yeah, I'm selling this fruit and I'll accept Bitcoin Cash or whatever cryptocurrency I want or whatever I want to accept? Like, how did they advertise? And you know, and then we've all witnessed the deplatforming that's happened over the last few years. So I don't trust, you know, I wouldn't go to an effort to advertise on platforms, you know, if there was any risk of me being deplatformed from them. So I love the permissionless nature of this.
You should give these guys one of these credit card size paper wallets, so they can, everybody can, how to see, buy stuff, make, how to see, transfer money to them, and in the end of the day they go to some like convenience store and cash this to other wallet, so they will not need
even if they had like a small, like I like to use the idea of a iPod Touch, you know, where it's not really, there's no service, but iPod Touches are expensive. But if you did the same thing with Android, you could be out in the middle of the field accepting and then walk into a store that has Wi-Fi and do all your transfers. And it feels like, and that'd be inexpensive enough to where almost anyone could afford a $20. I mean, as long as there was somebody supporting them, you know, probably someone on the street can't. But I mean, I think these concepts are good, and I'd love to see stuff like that. I mean, a paper wallet, but even cheaper, obviously.
Temporary tattoos.
Yeah, right. You just get it changed every time.
Yeah, temporary tattoos.
That's how I've been onboarding people. A buddy of mine who sells propane and he accepts Bitcoin Cash. I just made him a laser engraved public key that we stick to the side of his pump, and then he has the private key in his safe. And so anytime I go and get, you know, I mean, there's just like no app to download.
Right.
You know, it can't possibly get any easier than that. So I like that. But anyways, this idea of these sort of, you know, how do you help the individuals, like the really, really small businesses? You know, and I'm seeing the same thing here in Mexico, and I've talked to Daniel in Venezuela, and like, this is a global hair on fire problem that every single human being needs to trade, and they need to advertise what it is that they want to trade. And so I'm hoping that this permissionless, uncensorable platform will help with that.
You know, what's crazy about it though, is it is actually a hair on fire problem, but it's invisible to nearly everybody. Like anyone, like no one ever sees it. We live in a different society. We live in society. We don't see any of that. So no one wants to help it. So I think that having those two things mix is what's important, is to actually have someone who can actually do it, identifies the issue, and then wants to bring it to them.
Yeah. And that's why I'm hoping to empower, local community people that could register businesses and incentivize them to make like a little bit of profit, but not too much, no rent seeking, to, help their local community by getting people onto the MAP platform. But we'll see how it pans out. Okay. Well, so I want to see Stoyan and Aaron fight over who's going to do the next demo.
All right. I'm already up. Look at this. Oh, Aaron wins.
There you go.
So sorry. Hey, I just want to kind of go through quick where I'm at. There's been a lot of work done. A lot of it is the back end stuff, but I want to show you a couple of things. One is, you can actually do a search now. So only one person that besides me is logged in so far, and that is Chris. So I'm going to type in maid here, so you can do a search. And he created this robot maid token. So type right there, you click that.
It's the wrong picture, but that's funny. Oh, there he goes. Now it's a green forest fairy.
Green forest
That's what
fairy.
it's supposed to be.
Right. Yeah. But so you click on that. So then it comes up and it gives you this is the description he wrote in there. It's actually owned by Trout BCH, the creator. I bought it from him. It gives all this broken down here. Token created by Trout BCH. He listed it for $1.02. I purchased it for $1.02, and I'm going to make big money off this thing. It's $4.95 now.
Just flipping it.
I'm flipping it. I'm turning it around and making big money.
Flipping JPEGs.
So, but you can see right here, if you click the fullstack.cash link, I'm going to move this out of the way if I can. I don't have all the PSF 07 token integrations yet. So it's basically just storing it on my server. So it's certainly not one of those things that is decentralized fully yet. You're trusting that I'm holding the graphic and making it available. But I'm going to show you a couple other things. You can do a search. I'm going to move. Boy, this is getting in the way, isn't it? I'm going to do a search on a couple other things. So I have I made a lot of different types of warriors just because I thought, the cool part about some of the AI stuff is that AI generates particular things are just beautiful. Like this right here, these olden warrior princesses are just amazing graphics. So I made a bunch of these, and I'm selling some of them for $1.49, some of them for $9.99. But it's fun because like I have this concept, and this thing is able to generate a whole bunch of things. So you can see I'm trying to be as transparent as OpenSea. However, this is actually all stored on my server. This isn't on blockchain. You're not actually looking at Ethereum's blockchain doing it. But you can.
I love that transaction history though. It's neat to see how the tokens moved through the marketplace.
I like this part right here. So if I'm looking at this, so I'm not logged in right now. You can see I'm just as an anonymous person. But if I click on it, on the name of the person, it'll actually take me to their profile and show me what they have on sale. So similar to what OpenSea does, you can go in and see. There is a hidden tab that you can hide stuff if you're logged in. So these are all the things that I currently have for sale. And the funny part about it is I'm going to show you this. This one I purchased right here on Jungle. I bought this on jungle.net and I imported it into the system. So if you click right here, it'll take you to all the things that were imported by or created by this user, which I don't know who they are. I just bought them for 25 cents on Jungle. Again, trying to flip them to make huge cash.
Yeah.
Cash, baby.
This is neat though, how you were able to, you're basically just using the blockchain data to pull this in.
Yeah. And JD or JP, what was his name?
JT.
Anyway, JT had all of his stuff on a GitHub repository of where all the, based on the group token ID, where the tokens are stored. So it's not a great way to do it, but it works. So that's what I was doing to grab all those. But look at this right here. This is a fun one. I'm going to say race car. I'm just going to say race. I did a search for race. There's a race car token, and this is a race car pop. Where was this purchased from? Does anybody know?
99 cents.
So
I'll show you. Click right here. Suite. I bought it from Suite.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
wow.
So I've done the integration where I can purchase it on Suite and I send it over to my server and now I can sell it. You can actually sell on Suite, but the minimum price is $30.
Oh,
So I'm like,
Interesting.
yeah, I just don't see that going right now. Maybe eventually, but if you could see that this was actually created on Suite and then I brought it over to here and you can buy it just by clicking a couple buttons, that all works pretty well.
that's awesome.
Let me show you one really cool thing though. So this is one thing that I have not shown yet. So here's my ECSLP wallet, right? So I'm going to say
Mhm.
receive. I'm going to copy this address. Now watch this. I'm anonymous right now. Look, I've not logged in. I come here. How much is this token selling for? 99 cents. I hit buy now. I put in that wallet address, my SLP wallet address, confirm purchase. So I don't have an own rare account. You can see right here, pay with my own rare account. I've got this broken, by the way. I need to fix this.
No, it's all good.
Um,
Something's got to break on a demo.
yeah, everything, yes, always got to be something. So now look at, I remember I'm not logged in and I want to buy this one. I can pay 99 cents with Bitcoin Cash, or any of you can if you want to donate to me. No, I'm just kidding.
Nice.
So right here, I hit the button right here, scan this code. And now all of a sudden I've paid for it and it goes back to there and it will send it to my ESLP wallet, ECSLP wallet. So I've made a purchase anonymously without having to do anything but using the Bitcoin Cash network, and see how fast and smooth that was. I actually made an error last night, so I broke something, so it won't be sent until I fix something. Oh, about 10:30 last night I broke it. But anyway, questions?
Yeah. So in the case of an anonymous user, does the token just get sent to the address that paid for it?
It actually gets paid whatever you entered in. So I
Oh,
pasted
yeah,
it.
you can specify the address. Right?
Yeah, yeah. I thought about going the other way, but I think people get too confused because, especially with these HD wallets, they don't know where anything is being sent from.
Yeah, it's better because you might not pay from an SLP compatible wallet. And so, yeah, I think the way you did it is a better way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just concerned about, I mean, I've burned stuff in the past and that's not as much fun, especially if you're paying for it, making my own
Yeah.
stuff and burning my own stuff, who cares? But when I paid 20 bucks for it, or $3 or even 59 cents, it's nice when it works. So
Aaron,
I'll log in here just so you can see. So I'm gonna log in as myself, Cool Cleaner. So now you can see, this is stuff I've showed before, but it shows how much I have in BCH, shows how much I have in PSF. If I click on my own items, you can see these are the things currently in my primary wallet. These are the things that are on sale. So I've been bringing over 6529's memes and selling them. I don't know if you,
Nice.
Punk 6529 is one of the biggest NFT collectors on Twitter, has all kinds of stuff. And he's always saying, take these and sell them. We need the memes to get out there because that's how we're going to get it into people's brains as they remember these things this way. So what I haven't done well is editions are all separated. I need to combine editions into one graphic so that, I've got to do that yet, but things at a time, one thing at a time, right?
Aaron, did you think something how to enforce royalties on this stuff? Like Chris created for you a great fairy and you will sell it for a big money and Chris will not get anything from this.
Well, here's what I have right now. I'm enforcing a 5%. So let me just see if I can go to Leia. Let's do this. I'm going to go to my own. I also have a bug right here where periodically it shows 0 BCH. So just so you know that's being worked on, but I haven't got it working. But I'll show you. Here's a good point. So here's one right here, and it's not for sale currently, but I'm going to put it up for sale. List for sale. What happens is it says right here fees. At the time of sale, there's a service fee that comes to OwnRare, 5%. And there's a built-in creator fee that automatically gets paid whoever the creator is. The easy part is tracking it if it was created on OwnRare. It is way more difficult if it's imported from somewhere else to know who the creator was. So I'm storing all that stuff in a separate wallet that I can give to people later as soon as I actually can prove that they're the ones. but I am storing that 5%.
Yeah, and on that topic, this is something that I want to work with you guys on, is another specification on for this use case, for this royalty use case. So we've got the PS2, which is the mutable data spec. We've got the PS7, which is the schema for the stuff that goes into the mutable data. And then we could build on top of that a new specification for royalties, so that when a creator creates a token in the immutable data, they could specify an address for royalties and a license and terms of and conditions. And so then when that token lands in OwnRare, Aaron's software can just automatically figure out, what the commission is and whether it's acceptable in his store, and all can make all these decisions in an automated fashion.
Which, yeah, I love that. That's going to be, I mean, I know there's a lot of controversy right now because LooksRare didn't support some of creator fees, and OwnRare is trying to support them. So there's a bunch of podcasts on the specific thing, but I would love to at least make it possible that if the platform wants to, it can happen and knows what to pay and who to pay. All right, so I'm just going to show you a couple more things. There is the ability to deposit the NFTs. So if you want to take them in, right now it only supports Jungle and Sweets and NFT, the token repository protocols. And as soon as you click this button, it'll go back and rerun a query against the blockchain. I do keep track of, as you can see, right, the crypto market, just it's not doing well today. There is the ability to explore, which is just sort of fun because you can go looking at particular things, collectibles. Right here's all this Punk 6529 stuff, and I don't have anything in 3D art. So at some point, Aaron, I've got to talk to you about. I got to work on this 3D stuff because I really would love to make it simple for someone to create virtual worlds or 3D art, whatever you feel like. What's your take on it so far?
3JS would probably be the best place to go. They if you're using React to build, they have there is a React 3 library that easily allows you to put 3JS stuff into components. And so what's nice about it is you don't have to go through and be like, create canvas, create camera, create global light, create spotlight. And because when you do a project in 3JS, you have to create all those at one time. The React library is pretty much automatic. It's like import this from React 3, and then instantly you have a scene set up and you can start working with it. So
yeah, I'd love to. I mean, that sounds like exactly what I need. I'm not using React, but I'm sure that there's straight up JS or straight up.
Well, yeah, you could just do 3JS then if you're using straight JavaScript. And
so I'm going to show you I'll do a quick upload of a creation of an NFT. So just so you can see this is my last bit for the demo. So I'm going to bring these up right now. There is a series of anons, or anonymous ANON NFTs. And these are all, every person who joins OwnRare gets a free anonymous anon NFT, an OwnRare anon NFT. And you get a random one out of the collection that has been made. So let's go back and look at Trout. Let's see, made, how did I get there? Made, I did a search on the made, come here. So he automatically, when he joined, he automatically got this NFT as a gift just for joining. So he may not like it.
No, I love it. It's cool, man.
But it's a gift,
right? All these. I love this idea of essentially assigning. It's like, well, we gotta assign you a profile picture, but why assign you a boring one when we have AI that can generate all of these cool art?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. It's something that feels like, hey, I'm already getting something. So if I go back to mine, I want to show this real quick right here. If I go back to mine, and currently on my profile picture is this goofy monkey dude. But if I really want to change it, see, I can't do much with this because it's currently my profile picture. But if I have a different one in my profile, I can make this my profile picture just with a single click. So now this is my profile picture. And this is automatically set for you at the beginning. So you can't upload your own profile picture. All you can do is set an NFT that you own as your profile picture. That's the idea behind it. It's just sort of a fun gaming, sort of like fun to have unique items there for everybody.
Yeah, and that's what I love about what you did here, Aaron, is that it's fun. Like you have all these little fun things.
Yeah, I mean, right here, all these things I'm going to put in the users, the owner, the collection, whoever created it. So their pictures will appear here as well to try and make it feel. I have work to do on that yet, but I want to do the last bit is to create, just so you can see this. So I'm going to create one of these own rare anons, right? So I have a whole bunch of them that I've created. I'll bring up a screen full of them. So these are all stuff I've created that are going to be eventually NFTs that are given away for free as people join. So let's just grab this one. I think this is kind of a cool one. Look at this. All right, I'll use that one. So all you have to do is, I got to find that one I just found here. Hold on. All right, I might move to a different one just because I've got too many in here to find. So let's do this one right here. So I got this, I drag it over onto here, it uploads. And I say own rare. I actually don't know which one I'm on, so I'm just going to say XXX. Right. So this is all it is, basically. You have to put a name in. These are already set based on the group token. So once that's done, I can just hit create and it will go ahead and create the NFT. And
I like that idea of pulling a lot of the data from the group token. That's a good idea.
So the next thing I'm going to do too is to make it so if I don't have to memorize where I'm at, I can just hit a button that says increment counter.
Yeah. If you query the group token data, it'll give you an array of all the NFTs. So you could just take that count and increment it by 1.
Yeah, it's got to be simpler. And the next one after that is I need to be able to grab 10 of them, upload them all, with one thing, and then hit a button and it will automatically do 10, right? So that the user isn't tied to this computer, but instead uses the system and all the automation to do that.
Yeah.
So that's all happening. I just wanted to show where I'm at right now. What I'm hoping is that sometime, in fact, I'd like to send referral codes to all of us here. Chris, I did earlier because I wanted to walk through it with him and I could ask some questions. But Aaron, Stoy, and Sam, at a minimum, like to make sure you guys get at least a chance to play with it. If you're okay, I'll send referral codes over. I didn't mention one thing is I don't have the ability to create referral codes for you yet, right? That's still, but what you'll be able to do is have referral codes that you can give to others. And when you give out a referral code, you'll get 1% of anything they create. So that 1% will come out of my 5%, not out of the creator. So owner takes 5%, but I would only get 4% then, and you would get 1% of all sales in PSF tokens. So that's how it's set up right now. And it may not be perfect, but I'm like, you gotta start with something.
Yeah, it's a great place to start.
Awesome.
Anyway, that's it. Thank you. Any questions?
It looks cool. I can't believe all the functionality you got going on in there.
It's
wondering
beautiful.
I'm wondering how you mapped out the site before you started building it like this.
Well, you know what's funny? I actually started using this. So let me share one thing because this is so crazy. I just started using this the other day. Okay, so I didn't start on VS Code, but I'm using VS Code now. But look at this. Have you guys used Copilot at all?
Not a whole lot.
So look at this. Look, okay, look up token. Oh, look up token key, right? I hit enter. It goes out and says, well, it should do, 1 second here. Look up, oh yeah. Oh, let me just look up token info. Let's just do that one. Right, so it'll go and see all of my well, what's it doing? It's not doing it. Damn it.
Okay, so that's how you give it a prompt is with the comments.
Yeah, you just do a comment and it will start. Okay. What the heck? Now, of course, it's broken, just like the demo. Look up look up info on the token. All right, well, what the hell? It's not working right now. But normally what it does is, now you're not gonna trust anything ever, is it actually will go out, look at all of my functions. It will create the function, go find the variables and say, hey, what about this? Do you want to see it? And then if you hit tab, it'll actually accept that. You can still modify it, but Copilot will actually do a lot of your code just from pseudocode. It's really interesting.
Wow.
So to answer your question, Aaron Shoemaker, I didn't plan it all out very well. Every time I run into an issue, I'm like, oh, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. You just gotta, I don't know. Otherwise, you just don't start.
Yeah. No, I get you. I'm in the middle of doing that. I got myself a whiteboard so that, you know, I was like, man, this is way better, like trying to wireframe a site with a whiteboard, because you can more easily go, oh, just erase that. Let's put that there. Yeah. Okay. That's a good place to start. Now let's go build it, you know, instead of like what I was doing before was like, I think I'd like this, you know, no, let's move it around. Now it's more like, all right, here it is. Take a picture. Let's model after this. And then,
Yeah, and you can like take a picture, so you can always reference earlier versions, right? That's another great thing about whiteboarding.
yeah.
Well, you know, in terms of wireframing and prototyping, Daniel's been using Figma. It's a website and also a file standard, I guess. And he's been able to do some pretty amazing mock-ups with that software. So
Yeah,
it's something to
our
look
company-
into if that's of interest.
Our company also is using Figma.
Hmm.
Because it's easy to, how to say, to communicate with designers, especially like they design everything for you in Figma, and you like a coder, you can get directly the CSS even from there. And it's
Really?
usually, yeah, you can try some stuff before putting them in code. So it's pretty nice system.
Wow.
Yeah, and you can make links work, even though it's a mock-up. You can like put in what the link should be and click on it and actually get behavior. It's pretty impressive. A couple people I've had Daniel do those Figma things for, they think that the Figma is the website. They're like, oh, you're already done. No.
Yeah, it's very easy to show to the people because you are talking, but they don't understand what you're saying. But when you show them, okay, it's this one, they, oh, okay.
I want to show you one last thing here. Sorry, is this idea that it already exists now. You can see that the token exists. Behind the scenes, there's jobs running. So it went out, created a task. It went through the blockchain, created the group token, you know, and then so now it's all out there, and I can list it for sale. So I can put it for, you know, $9.95, whatever, $9. And you can see, oh, I didn't mention this. Here's where it talks about the own rare rewards. The seller gets 0.5% in PSF tokens, the buyer gets 0.5% in PSF tokens, and the referrer gets 1% in PSF tokens. So own rare in that case would only receive 3% of the sale. But I wanted to show you all those things, and now I am done again. There we go, back.
Nice. Well, yeah, Stoyan, go ahead and start your demo before Aaron takes the sharing back.
Let me stow the screen. No, I don't have something specific. I was just wanted to, how to see, to start conversation about this interesting stuff. Recently, in order to increase your security, there was like several interesting stuff that you can do. One is, for example, revoke.cache. Maybe you're already using it.
Actually, Roscoe Callis, who created that, is a friend of mine, and I work with him at Bitcoin.com. It's amazing to see how that stuff's taken off.
But it's not BCH related at all. It's how to see. You can track what exactly is your MetaMask doing. So this one was interesting and very helpful. I'm using it all the day. And I found recently this delegate.cache, which is also pretty interesting concept. It's like one giant key value store where you can connect some wallet to be a representation for other wallet. So you can have like a cold wallet your, like, for example, letter or something, but you can say, okay, this guy is, I'm delegating everything, not everything. I'm delegating something to this wallet, and this something is interesting because if your very expensive Bored Apes NFTs are inside your cold wallet, you can get some airdrops and stuff like this one in this wallet, but you don't need to move your very expensive Bored Ape. So I was thinking, this is of course in the Ethereum like EVM world, but I was thinking, is it a good idea to have something similar for our tokens? Like, for example, you have a paper wallet, but you don't want, and you put your NFTs there, but you don't want some like spammy tokens to go there from some airdrops or somebody who scanned the network for all owners of PSF token. So you, I don't know, in some way, I was thinking now about some NFTs again, but you, how to see, just scan the paper wallet and create NFT, which with some metadata, and the wallet which owns this NFT will represent your paper wallet. So when somebody sends you tokens, of course, they will need to check not only is the wallet owner of this NFT, but also a second check, is there a delegation token there? So, and if it's yes, you can participate in some airdrops, like they will send you some bonk tokens in this hot wallet, but they will check that this hot wallet is delegating for somebody else. It's pretty difficult to explain concept. Maybe I'm like very bad now in explaining, but it was like very interesting. And I think it's very useful. Like, at least in the moment I'm thinking like this.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. I'm like, when I'm the only way that my brain's wrapping the concept right now is like forwarding. Like I could see how, like, if a token landed in the wallet, you could have this this would be a software thing that would like automatically forward, airdrop tokens onto another address.
It will not
I don't think that's what you're
forward
talking
it.
about.
It's more like a proxy. So the bank token would end up in this delegator. It will not go to your paper wallet. So
Yeah, that's interesting.
and also it can be used, for example, I was thinking about when we have some voting and stuff like this one, like maybe I want to buy PSF tokens, but I don't want to take part in all of the voting and stuff like this one. So I will have a way to delegate my powers to somebody, my representative. Like Aaron will be my representative, so he will participate in all meetings with his power and my power that I delegated to him via something. So I'm not sure about via what, but this delegating of the rights via like wallets is pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah, it's a powerful idea, this delegation. I'm just drawing a blank on how it's actually implemented.
This one is very simple. It's a contract, is like a key value store. So you just have there the one address, this one, it's my hot wallet. And this one is the code on the reverse, the cold wallet. And this one is hot wallet, which is representing this one. So it's like a giant Excel table, but every row you need to own this address in order to register this delegation.
Right. That's what I was thinking too. As long as you can sign something
Yeah,
that shows that you said that's your saying it, not somebody else, then it's like, okay, well then I can use this as a delegate.
Yeah. So you sign this transaction, but on the other side, when there is some minting or claiming or airdropping, when you check is the wallet owner of some token, you need also to check like, okay, is this like delegator for this one? So for example,
okay.
Yeah,
if I create some token now, like Stoyan token, and I want to send it to all of the owners of the PCF tokens, not PCF, some NFT, like PCF governance tokens, I will check first the list of the wallets which owns the token itself, but I also will check for in this table if some address is representing some of the owners, and I will send the tokens here, not here.
right now there's a big problem. If you follow Punk6529 on Twitter, I mean, they talk about this a lot. Airdrops are a big problem. People are dumping just trash in there, and then what ends up happening too is if you wanted to do a mint for something and represent something, it is you how many ledger wallets do you have that you to protect all of the important and expensive NFTs that you own? It really is difficult. This would make it easy because you would only, the people that were willing to look up delegates, you go, okay, I can trust these people more because they're actually willing to say, hey, I'm not going to put it in the same wallet. I'm going to give it to somewhere that you can decide if it's important or not. I mean, I think this kind of is really long-term, a big thing to allow the individual owner to still have the power.
This one was created specifically, I think, from the Bored Apes guys, because they had problems when they want to get their ape coin. They need to prove that they own the how to see the expensive token. So, but they sometimes somebody tricked them and just stole their like apes. So now they decided, okay, we need this thing. So the ape tokens will be sent here, and we will not touch our expensive apes on our ledgers.
Right.
And we will just create this delegation here. And this is all.
This is a big problem in the EVM world. I mean, the NFT EVM. This is a big problem. This does seem to solve quite a bit for that.
But
Yeah,
delegation is interesting problem in general, like for DAOs, like now we are voting with tokens. So I was thinking, can we use this for something? This was just I wanted to show, not that exactly you should use this service or something.
Yeah, now that I understand the problem it was created to solve, that helps me understand it. And I was also missing the fact that like the people doing the airdrop, it's on them to respect this protocol and not just do it yeah. So, and I guess that would, having something like this would make it easier to set up sort of almost like a spam protection, where it's like, well, if you want to airdrop me, then respect this delegate. And if you don't, then I'm just going to like essentially send your airdrop to a spam address, like forward it onto a spam address. Yeah,
and also it's problem it's solving one more problem with the security, because this contract, it does not own the expensive ape one. So they cannot trick you. When you go to some mint site, you can sign the mint transaction and get some like free NFT or something, but they cannot trick you to send them your ape.
Right.
They will just store the stuff from this wallet, which does not own the expensive ape one.
Right. Yeah,
but
that's great.
You can mint with this, like when the check is, do you own ape? It will make like hope to hear and check. This is also one problem that's solving, but it's not so for us, I think.
Well, I mean, it is. This is a great template. I mean, right now it's not a problem because the traffic is so low. But when SLP tokens were blowing up, this was a problem, and that there were so many airdrops going on, and then each token is a new UTXO. So anytime your wallet loads your tokens, it degrades the user experience because it makes it slower and slower and slower. So something like this is if we get another like revival of SLP tokens, something like this is going to be really handy. Like we'll probably, and I'm thinking like just looking at this through the lens of Bitcoin Cash and things I know that have been built. This kind of reminds me of Cash ID, where you register an on-chain ID. That's kind of a similar thing. Also, these claims, these sort of soulbound token claims that I'm using in the this, you could set up a delegate just by making a claim. Of course, revoking it would be difficult to do at that point, so that might not be the way to do it. But yeah, I can, now that I can see the problem it solves, yeah, it's got my gears turning. This is really interesting.
So this was that I wanted to discuss. So yeah, this was my presentation.
Great. That's really cool. I think the concept is amazing.
Just one, Stoyan? I don't know if I've ever seen you just share one thing.
No, I have many stuff, but then I was working mostly in the EVM world, so I'm sure you are not interested from my Pixel Cards collection.
Yeah, I have been following you on Twitter around that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm starting to play more with the EVM stuff. I was I took another crack at Ethers.js and I'm starting to, especially I spent like a week really exploring this idea of a bridge between ERC20 tokens and Bitcoin Cash. And that's why I was playing with Ethers. So yeah, pretty interesting ideas. Well, guys, it's been about an hour. This is probably a good stopping point. Is there any news items or projects you're working on you want to share before we wrap it up?
I'm got a lot I'm working on, but you know, once I get there, I'll let you guys know. You know,
Aaron, I have interesting, like Aaron,
yeah.
Schumacher. I have interesting idea for you, for maybe side business for you.
Okay.
Today we have an interesting discussion in our space. One of the artists there who is like creating in real time, in real life, like sculptures. She's like pretty starting now, so she cannot get a nice insurance. And it happens several times. Somebody came to this gallery and touch this statue and just fall down and broke. So I was thinking, okay, if you can offer to these people a 360 model of this art, they can have it like a digital backup and they can always recreate from this. So it's like a nice business. Maybe it's you charge them a little money. It's not insurance, but it's way better than to not have anything.
Yeah.
And it's just taking a 360 data of this object, maybe minting it as NFT even to prove that it's yours, or I don't know. But it was interesting to see your stuff can do some stuff for this in real time, like in real life, like artist.
Yeah, I like that idea. And actually, if she's got like an iPhone, I think 13, she can use the LiDAR sensor to capture a pretty good model. They're not spectacular like by any means, but if you want to go high detail, you want to use something like a LiDAR scanner or photogrammetry, but you could get a pretty good model off your iPhone. But you can also do one other thing, which is I've done this. You take a cell phone video. So if she took a cell phone video and went entirely around the statue, top and bottom, you know, so think of it like a dome, and you just want to make sure you go around the entire dome. And then she can send me that video, and then I can use FFmpeg to strip out the frames and then run that through a photogrammetry program and then create the model that way.
I think what's cool about that too is you could actually sell that as an NFT. Like, okay, the physical thing is out there, but you know, for $3 or $12, you could own like a NFT version of that. I mean, that's kind of a fun additional revenue.
And also, I was thinking you can check how it will affect, how it look in different lights.
Yep.
Before putting it in the gallery, because you don't know where to put this thing, but you can check how it will look with different lights and say, okay, I want it in this corner.
You could do that with AR too. So
you show me this like
another 3JS thing, you know, and
yeah.
Babylon JS. And that's like, I'm glad you're looking at the 3D stuff, Aaron, because I think that's where the NFT market is actually going to come into its own, is where, okay, now you can print this thing, it's functional, you can use it as AR stuff, you know, so like you may own the token and then you put on your AR glasses and you see it on your wall. So it's like,
Right.
now it's going a step further from just, oh, it's on the computer. It makes a lot more sense to have that, buy that, sell that, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. I think that is a huge play, and I'm glad that you're in it so I can learn from you.
yeah, I got to get some time to get back into the 3JS side. I'm burning up React, Neo4j, GraphQL right now. So actually here, I'll show you guys one quick thing. Hopefully Zoom doesn't go down on me. Okay, so this is a century of calendar in a graph, essentially. I was trying to remember the queries and stuff, but each one of these is a connection. And so in order to make this graph, we have 2,300 nodes. That's it for 100 years of calendars. And then you can query the entire calendar, and every node you can, what's great about the nodes is every little part here. Let's see if we can zoom in. Every little part is actually a relationship. And these relationships, what's cool is you can actually put properties on the relationships, and then the nodes themselves can add properties. So like we can click on this node and we can see that we have the label, which is year, and then the property, which the property name, which is year. So you can go to a table and look like, add like that. You can see all the properties and you can see their connections, and you can also see them in text form, and then you can see a code response as well. But yeah, I'm messing with this with some of our backend. But this was something we're working on, and we're like, holy crap, because you can import CSV files, and we're like, my buddy's like, well, let's try 100 years. So we're like, yeah, that's great. And this would take you about 83,000 cells in a relational table database, and it takes 2,300 with a graph.
Wow.
So yeah. Anyways, that's some of the stuff I'm learning, getting into, but I forgot to, because it's schemaless and you have to essentially write your own schema, and I haven't come back to this for a couple weeks. I forgot some of the node properties I called everything. So if you do work on it, write it down. Write down your schema. So
Nice, guys. Yeah, I love this discussion with the especially taking physical art, and I'm working with some physical artists, and I'm talking to them about that we work with physical medium, like two-dimensional paintings. And it's like, well, to take a picture of it and then offer the NFT as, turn it into an NFT, and then offer that as a value add to the product. And so I like the idea that you could also apply that to a 3D object. And it also sounds like a heck of a business idea to take video footage from people and turn it into a 3D model, NFT.
Right.
That would be a neat service for artists that work with sculptures and stuff. Well, okay, let's go ahead and wrap it up. I really appreciate you guys sharing all the cool things that you're working on. This is just awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate it. This is great stuff. I love watching what we're all doing, and I'm learning. Every time you put out new stuff, Chris, I'm learning, like, okay, how can I integrate? How can I use this? So I appreciate all the stuff you're doing.
Nice. Well, likewise, I love seeing all the different things you guys are doing. It really gets my gears turning.
well, I get to do some invoice automation, which is really exciting this afternoon.
Yeah, well,
So exciting.
the
You
job
can
part of
use
the work.
Chat GPT is the recent like guy on the market. Everybody's using this thing.
I tried the other day and they said, we're busy, come back.
Yeah, you can, how to see, a little hack. This Chat GPT is very limited and very busy, but you can go to other open AI service. Okay, if I can share my screen again. So the more like the better stuff is this thing. I will send you the URL. This OpenAI company which created Chat GPT, it have another site which is like Playground, but oh, it's not here. Sorry, let me open another browser. So it's not so crowded and it's more flexible. It does not have most of the limitations that they put on the Chat GPT. The Chat GPT was there mostly to simulate like chat, like this dialogue, but the real model is on this side, so it's trained better and it have less limitation. So you just go there. When you register, you will get like $20 of for usage. So see, they have even the link to Chat GPT here, so you can go there. But inside this one, you can do the same things that on Chat GPT, like write me invoice. What kind of invoice you want for?
Oh, I need it to write me an invoice for performance.
For performance.
Yeah.
For
Like a musical performance.
performance. Musical. Okay. Musical performance. Performance. I have some mistake here, of course. Performance. Performance. And you just press submit and it will write here. So I'm not sure if it will write it now, but this site is not so busy and their model is better trained than Chat GPT. And as I mentioned, it's free pretty much because you will get $20, but it's took a lot of things until you burn this stuff. So yeah, and also you can change it to other models. Like they have different models here. So for example, there's like especially for code. If you want to write JavaScript, you can use another model which is trained especially on code. And they have also like this one, less trained models. So if you want a quick answer, just you can use other models.
Do
So
they
this
have
is a very
an
very nice
API?
site.
Do they have an API?
I think yes. I need to check where is the they have viewed the code and documentation. So maybe we can go to documentation and API reference.
Okay, because this could be good. Because what I need to do is I need to evaluate how many performances are booked, then make an invoice for that, and then automate kicking that out, and then be able to put in the homes and the relevant information. But if I can create something on my side that says, all right, when this hits this, trigger this, send it over to Chat GTP or GPT. I can't say it. I can't say it.
It's like
Make an invoice, kick it back, and then kick it out. That'd be awesome.
okay. So where's my chat window? I will stop share here. So chat here, and this is the URL. So this is the group which created open the same Chat GPT. I think it now belongs to Microsoft. So you will become a friend with Bill Gates maybe using his tools. But yeah, this is the I think according to some of the influencers. So yeah, don't trust me too much on this, but this one is like a better way to have like this service than Chat GPT.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. I didn't realize that was there. I just kept getting denied.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and stop recording. And yeah.
All right. And we'll talk to you guys later. And This has been the PSF. We'll see you next time, guys.